This is the Global Economic Commodities Scrap Metal and Recycling Report by BENLEE Roll-Off Trailers and Lugger Trucks, December 23rd, 2019. This is a special remote edition.
U.S. steel production rose to 1.844 million tons. While U.S. manufacturing remains weak, consumer spending could increase industrial growth. Oil rose to 60.19 a barrel, near the multi-month high on continued OPEC production cuts and hopes of faster global growth. U.S. weekly oil production remained steady at 12.8 million barrels per day, near the record level, which is great for the overall U.S. economy and jobs. Iron ore fell to $93 a ton, but remains high on the same hopes of faster global growth. Scrap steel number one heavy melt was steady at 229.33. Supply is coming into recycling operations too slowly. This means January could see higher prices to increase flow into recycling yards. Hot rolled coil steel rose to $28.75 a hundred as steel mills continue to pass on increased scrap and iron ore prices, with more increases coming. Copper rose to $2.82 per pound on continued positive trade news and okay but slowing U.S. economic growth. Aluminum rose to 80.2 cents per pound on the same positive trade news and okay economic growth news. November's China industrial production rose 6.2% year on year, the sharpest yearly growth in industrial output since June, with mining and metals strong. 11 months of 2019 were up 5.6% from 2018. U.S. GDP for the third quarter was a slow 2.1%. This is okay growth, but is actually a major problem. The 2017 tax cut was forecast to increase growth to 4, 5, or 6% or more growth, so the tax cuts were to more than pay for themselves. This simply is not happening. Instead, slowing growth is bringing huge deficits and major borrowing. Major borrowing will lead to slower growth and more taxes unless Washington changes plans to drive growth to bring in more taxes and cut spending. The U.S. Manufacturing Index clearly shows there was a major positive after the tax cut, but since mid-2018, manufacturing has been contracting. We do now think that this is near the low of the cycle, so that the consumer will actually help drive what's going on in the economy. December's U.S. consumer confidence rose to 99.3, the highest since May, as consumers view current conditions as more positive and inflation expectations declined. December's Home Builders Index jumped to 76, the highest reading in over 20 years. This is great news for future highway jobs and capital spending. Wall Street Dow Jones average rose to 28,455, hitting a new record during the week on the positive trade news and good job growth as slow economic growth continues. While U.S. government debt is rising and is close to dangerous levels, there actually is huge room for optimism about the global economy per a recent CNBC article. 1. Global prosperity is rising. 2. Some of the world's worst places are getting better, like Uzbekistan and Sudan. 3. The global middle class has never been larger and half of humanity is living in democracies. 4. Violent crimes have declined. 5. We're getting smarter and more tolerant. 6. Technology could save the planet from healthcare advances and carbon scrubbing to reduce climate change. How would you double your transportation productivity on long hauls for roll-off dumpsters? Buy a BENLEE roll-off pup trailer. We make them in 2 to 4 axles. Call us today at 734-722-8100 for a quote.
As always, feel free to call, leave a message on LinkedIn, or email me with any questions. And we hope all have a safe and profitable week, and happy holiday.